In this course, you are about to learn Windows Server 2016. You will learn how to install, configure, and use this operating system. For that learning, you will need a machine on which you will install Windows Server and practice what you will learn. This machine can be a physical machine, whether a desktop, a laptop, or even a server machine for those who are rich enough. The downside of this option is that you will invest in hardware that will cost you a few hundreds of dollars just to use it as a lab environment. I would not recommend that. The other option is more cheaper. I mean, it will not cost you a cent. This solution is the use of a virtual machine. A virtual machine, or VM, is a program that you will install on your computer that emulates a computer. It's a computer within a computer. Before going further in the definitions, I want to explain the concept of the host and the guest. The host refers to the physical machine that runs the VM. On the other hand, the guest represents the VM that runs on the host. We talk also of host operating system and guest operating system. The host operating system is the OS that runs on the physical machine. The guest operating system is the OS running on the VM. For instance, you have a laptop running Windows 10, you install on it a VM, and on this VM you install Windows Server 2016. So Windows 10 is the host OS, and Windows Server 2016 is the guest OS. A VM has resources such as virtual CPU, virtual RAM, virtual disk, and other virtual components. In fact, the VM uses the resources of the host on which it runs. For example, if you configure your VM with 2 GB of RAM and the host contains 8 GB of RAM, at the end, the host will have only 6 GB of RAM available for running the host OS and the other programs. The other 2 GB are used by the VM to run its own OS and programs. When you shut down the VM, these 2 GB of RAM will be released and can be used again by the host. The advantage of using a VM is that there is no extra investment to make. It's free, even if there is versions of VM's software that are paid. But these are dedicated for professional environments. For learning a new operating system or making labs, the free version is largely enough. Another advantage is that you can export your VM to another computer and use it without having to reinstall and configure the guest OS and the different programs again. You can also clone your VM. If, for example, you need for your lab a second machine, you can take your VM, clone it, make some minor changes on the newly cloned VM, like changing the host name, the IP address, and your second VM is ready to use.